Welcome to Episode 7 of Keke's Guide to Training Your Human. My name is Ken Van Camp. I write and narrate this podcast under the creative direction of Keke. In each episode, Keke presents a dog's perspective on life and growing up in the human world. People often ask, how can a puppy write a blog and a podcast? Luckily, Keke is an accomplished dancer, which comes in handy when she writes this material on her laptop. She can do the foxtrot, the Carolina shag, and the Control-Alt-Delete. In this episode, we present lessons 21 through 23. I hope you enjoy it as we start with Lesson 21, House Training for Puppies, Part 3. What to do when you regress. In our last lesson on house training, we talked about how confusing it can be to learn from humans. In this lesson, we'll deal with the aftermath. Puppies, beware. Once your human decides you are house-trained, they move quickly from reward mode to punishment mode. Something every dog trainer will tell you is a bad thing. It's all supposed to be about loving reinforcement and treats. But in case your humans missed that memo, you can take matters into your own paws, and the important thing here is to keep expectations low. Lower than the belly of an overweight corgi. It starts with the gray areas and guilt. Lots and lots of guilt. Let's say they leave you alone for a few days. Okay, maybe it was just a few hours, but it felt like a few days, didn't it? If they come back and you haven't had an accident, you're a rock star and you get a treat. All well and good, right? Except, not so fast, Pooch. The problem is the next time they'll expect the same outcome. And here's the real kicker. The moment this becomes an expectation, the treats are gone and are replaced by punishment when a similar performance is not delivered. So, how do you reset expectations? Here's a great trick I learned from my dear Uncle Flash. When they walk through the door after a long time away, wag your tail excitedly and then let loose a flood on the floor. They will begin to get the idea. You haven't seen them in so long, and you're so happy to see them. Play it up. Guilt, guilt, and more guilt. How could you help but pee yourself? If you are adept at the doleful look, see our earlier lesson, that pitiful puppy look, you'll soon have them giving you a treat instead of a punishment, even though you've peed on the floor. This even works if you're being crated while they're gone, because there's always time to show your love in the wettest possible way, sometime between being released from solitary confinement and being escorted to the door. And if they pick you up and carry you to the door, the damn release can be even more effective. Keep this up. Don't ever let them think they can get away with leaving you alone for long periods. Keep expectations low, and soon they'll have you eating out of their hands. Lesson 22. Left-Overture. Getting the best possible leftovers. Last night's dinner was steak, potatoes, and Brussels sprouts. I could smell the gravy with baby mushrooms. The potatoes were lyonnaise with onions and fresh parsley. This was a dinner to savor. This was a day to be on best behavior. Sit quietly without begging, he said, and you'll get the leftovers. So I sat, silent as a shadow's whisper, blending into the woodwork like a bashful chameleon. The meal seemed to stretch for hours, the aromas maddeningly close yet so far away, but not a whimper escaped my mouth. "Good girl, Keke," he said at last, pulling his chair away from the table. "The leftovers are yours." And he gave them to me. Every last Brussels sprout. But who got the last laugh? Brussels sprouts give me gas. Lesson 23. National Dog Day is August 26. in which we present 7 ideas to help you honor your favorite species. Every dog must have its day, and the one that's officially sanctioned as National Dog Day is August the 26th. In my opinion, every day should be Dog Day, but alas, when it comes to modern-day Earth, humans call the shots and not puppies. Created originally as a day to promote pet adoption and rescue centers, it is now more generally promoted as an opportunity for all dogs to live safe, happy, and abuse-free lives, and for all humans to make a little extra cash selling doggy paraphernalia. But it makes sense. Why not have a day to celebrate man's best friend, or perhaps to celebrate humans as a dog's best friend? Or as put by Boy, the dog and author of A Dog's Life with help from Peter Mayle, humans are our most convenient support system. So, what can humans do to honor their favorite pet? Or what can dogs do to honor their favorite human? Here are 7 ideas. Number 1, visit a local shelter. Many of them are run by non-profit organizations, so if you can't adopt a dog, consider making a donation. Number 2, pet shelters often need non-monetary donations too. Examples include blankets, sheets, pee-pee pads, and dog food. Check with your local shelter to see what they need. Number 3, shelters have limited space and some may be looking for short-term foster homes. Can you foster a dog? Number 4, review your home to make sure it is pet safe. There's a link in this episode description for more information about making your home pet safe. Number 5, did you know dogs can donate blood? Not every dog is eligible, but it can save another dog's life. It's used to treat anemia and cancer-related blood loss, among other things. Plasma transfusions are used to treat ailments such as internal bleeding, deadly canine diseases such as parvo, inherited bleeding disorders, and hemophilia. There's also a link in this episode description for more information about canine blood donations. Number 6. Dogs, spend time with your favorite human and show them love. Number 7. Tell your human a silly joke. Here's one. How do you make a tissue dance? Answer: put a little boogie in it. Thank you for listening to this episode of Keke's Guide to Training Your Human. I'm Ken Van Camp, and I hope you've enjoyed this performance. If so, please rate it and leave feedback. You can post feedback on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Keke's Guide or email Keke at kekesguide@gmail.com. The link is also in the episode description. We are dropping a new episode of Keke's podcast every Saturday morning on Spotify and YouTube, but it can take up to a day to push to all podcast apps. So if you don't get your new episode on Saturday, check back again on Sunday. And follow Keke's Guide so you'll be notified as each episode becomes available to you. Please join us for the next episode of Keke's Guide to Training Your Human, because dogs are people too, you know?